Hello.
Hi friends, welcome back to this tutorial.
Yeah.
My wife Angie is a talented and crafter and painter and refurbisher, recycler, upcycler.
You're nice.
And she is going to work on this. This is an amazing table.
This is an amazing table, and I love it, and I'm so excited to paint it, but I'm also a little intimidated.
Oh, well, I think you have a great canvas here to work with. I see you've already painted it. This is a beautiful plant stand, and I'm excited to see what you're going to do with it.
Well, thank you.
Do you know what you're going to do with it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can talk about the process a little bit.
I have a couple of ideas, and that is part of my process. Honestly, is I get kind of a general idea, and then I have to kind of make it up as I go along.
Okay.
There goes our phone. But
it's live, people. Let's see. So, well, awesome. You've got all your products. You got everything you need. You need anything from me?
Well, I was just going to talk a little bit more about the table.
Oh, okay.
I guess. So it has a marble slab top, and this is very old. The drawer has hand carved dovetails, so I'm not sure how old that makes it, but it's pretty old. But it's adorable. It has all these cute little details to it.
It's got a lot of nice features.
My friend Diane gave it to me. Thank you, Diane. And so I thought it would make an incredible plant stand because of the marble top and the size of it.
Absolutely.
And so I thought green was a good color. And I just realized I didn't put the lid on this, so don't spill this.
Oh, okay.
But this is Deb's DIY in Fancy Farm Girl, and that's my favorite green. I love that color of green.
That is a great color, Fancy Farm Girl DIY. I see a lot of it around here, so I can tell you like it a lot.
I do. It's adorable. And then I have a couple other products. I have this golden ticket liquid patina. It's also by DIY. I've never used it on a piece of furniture before, but if you can see this little detailing on here, I think I'm going to use it. We'll see what happens there. But that's my plan for now. And then I definitely want to put some IOD transfers on, and I can't decide between these two sets. So I have, will you hold that for me?
I will.
So I have Lover of Flowers, and I just took some of the roses off of it, and I love them against this color of green.
That looks so good.
And because it's such a dainty table, I kind of like the idea of roses. But then I pulled out this Wander transfer, and look at these colors with that green. But it's a very different look. Like, it's a totally different look. So we will see. I have the base coat of the DIY Fancy Farm Girl. Before I put a transfer on, I have to seal it. And I'm using this big top. You can't use a wax to seal under a transfer. So I'm putting on this big top.
That's interesting. Why do you put the big top on before you put the transfer on? It seems like you would seal it afterwards.
Well, you should seal it afterwards too.
Oh, okay.
But because chalk paint is kind of chalky, the transfer just might not stick. It might, but you give yourself a better chance if you put the big top under it or some other water-based sealer, just not a wax.
Okay.
And then we'll put that transfer on, and then on top of it, you could use wax. You could use big top again. You could use some dark wax. You have some other options once
after
you get it
you've sealed it. Awesome.
Yes, and I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see.
Well, I'm interested in watching your process, so I'm going to go sit over there, and if you need me, I'll be right here. And I'm just excited to watch you work it out.
Well, thank you.
You're going to be amazing.
Thank you. So I have my big top here, and I'm just going to use a smaller brush on the front here because there's really not much space. This is a teeny little door, and then it has all the trim on it. So I'm going to go ahead and seal that because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a transfer on that. I think I may put transfers on the sides, although I haven't 100% decided on that, but I'm going to go ahead and seal it anyway. It doesn't really hurt anything for me to seal it. So sealing is, or using the big top, is really just like painting, although chalk paint is water activated, so you don't want to really scrub on anything because you might actually take some of the paint off. So it's better to do a light coat, let it dry, and then come back and hit it again if you need to. So hopefully you can see this a little bit. Just doing a nice light coat. Chalk paint is really easy to work with, but it does have a few things it's pretty particular about, like that water activation. That can be your friend or it can be your foe. It depends. If you want to do some blending or wet distressing, just something I do a lot, it's wonderful. I love chalk paint because it has that capability. But when you're trying to seal it, you have to be a little bit careful if you're using a water-based sealer. If you're using a wax, you can scrub on it pretty good. It won't bother it. And I am not being super picky about getting in all the edges because I will put a final coat of sealer on here after I get my transfer on. Right now, I mostly want to seal where that transfer is going to go. And you can kind of see how the paint changes color when it has the sealer on there. It gets darker. So that way I can be sure that I've covered all of it. Once it dries, it'll lighten back up again. It won't be as light as the unsealed color, but it will be lighter than this wet color. So somewhere in between. It's usually pretty close to the dry color. I am also going to do these sides over here, which you may not be able to see me do, but I'm going to use a little larger brush for that. And again, I don't know for sure if I am going to put transfers on the side, but you do have to put it on and let it dry before you put the transfer. So I want to be able to just pop them on there if I decide I want to do it, and not have to go through the drying time and application. Some people seem to be able to visualize the whole project before they get started. I wish I had that talent, but I don't. I have to do it a little bit at a time, get one piece on and decide what's going to be good next. And sometimes that can take your project in a very different direction than you were expecting. I've had that happen before. All right, so these look pretty good. They're good enough for applying a transfer, although it does need to dry, and I'm going to actually use a blow dryer. You can use a heat gun or just a fan, but I'm going to use a blow dryer just on low and get this all the way dry. All right, that's mostly dry. You can still see a little bit of, it looks like it might still be a little bit wet. Also because I did a really light coat of the big top, it's not a perfectly even finish at this point, but it is enough that I'll be able to put my transfers on. When I put my final finish on there, it'll smooth everything out. But you can see kind of the difference, the color change difference. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Yeah, so this is, I don't know, it just looks a little bit richer, I think. I like the look. Now I have to decide which transfer.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm really torn. I really love the idea of these lovely roses on here.
That looks good.
But I also really like the colors of this transfer. And there are a few more pieces that I can use on this one. So I kind of think I'm going to end up going with this one. The Wander. Here's the Wander transfer. And I've used part of it, but there's still quite a bit left. And I think this is the one we're going to be using.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
How did you make that decision?
The decision to go with Wander rather than Lover of Flowers. It was basically because I feel like I like the colors. I think the colors really pop. And I felt like there were more transfers available. With the Lover of Flowers, I love the idea of putting these roses on here. Like, I like the daintiness of the roses, but I feel like if I start putting a bunch of them on there, it's not going to be dainty anymore. And so, yeah, that's my thinking. We'll see.
I was just wondering. You did a good job explaining it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I don't really know why I make a decision, but I think that's why I made that decision. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and then we'll come back and start applying the transfers.
I love it.
Looks like that sealer has dried pretty well. And these are the two pieces that I'm going to put over here.
Those look good.
You think so?
Yes, good choice.
Thank you. You're so sweet. So I'm thinking this is the one that really sold me on this particular transfer. I just love this. Isn't that pretty? And isn't it pretty on this color?
The colors match beautifully. That pink is going to pop.
I think so. Yeah, I like the pink. I like the blue, and the greens. The greens are going to work with that green too. So I think I'm going to put it right here in the corner. There's a cute little daisy right here too. So what I need to do for applying a transfer, there's a couple of things. One, it has a protective backing on here. So I'll have to remove that when I'm ready to apply it. And two, every time you buy a transfer set, it comes with one of these little transfer sticks. And I never have thrown one away. I find so many things to do with them. They're awesome. So not only do they work for this, but you'll use it for something else, I guarantee. So I'm going to take this backing off like this. And now that the backing's off, if you touch this to something, it's going to stick. So I want to be very careful about how I place it. Although this particular transfer, if it's a little crooked, I don't think you're ever going to notice. So now that's where I want it. Just using my finger to kind of lay it down on here. And we did these transfers with people at a make and take at Sugarmill. People who had never used a transfer before, they did it on the first try, huh?
They did it, and they were so proud of the work they did. That's what I like to say. IOD takes an entry-level guy like me and makes it look like I am a pro.
I agree. They
were so proud.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch people do that. I hope you'll consider trying it. If you're watching this video, you have an interest in it, I hope you'll try it because it really is fun, and I think you'll be happy with the results. So I've placed this on here. I could tape it to make sure, but I feel like it's gonna hold pretty well on here, even if I take my hand off. And then when you're applying a transfer, what I like to tell people is it's not about rubbing really hard. And I think intuitively you think you've got to really rub it hard, but you don't. You really are trying to have it let go of this cover sheet because it already, as you can see, it's already stuck to the to the paint. It wants to be on the paint. We just kind of have to coax it off of that carrier sheet. So I like to kind of pull up one edge of it, and then I use my applicator transfer stick, and I just start coaxing it off. And I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it's already coming off. Can you see that? And see, this little piece didn't come off. It's still on the carrier sheet. I'm just going to put that back up. Try again, and now it's back on there, and you can't even tell that it goes perfectly back into that spot.
Don't freak out.
Yeah, yes. There's a low freak out factor on the on a transfer.
So you were saying resist the temptation to use excessive force.
Do not use excessive force. Look at that. It's coming off. And this piece right here, it was on, but it hadn't stuck to the paint yet. I just popped it down with my finger. And now I'm going to do the rest of this. You do need to be a little bit patient. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time, but once that starts to come off, it goes pretty fast. Yeah, I'm not rubbing hard at all. I think it's almost in the bending of the sheet. It's kind of like you're working with your applicator tool and bending the sheet at the same time. And that's kind of what works. Isn't that looking amazing?
It looks amazing.
I love it.
I like what you said about the transfer wanting to leave the sheet and connect with the table.
It does. It does. The way IOD has designed this, that transfer is ready to stick to your paint. It really just needs a little bit of coaxing to get off of that transfer sheet, and then it will grab on and hold on. Ta-da!
Looks amazing, dear.
So now I'm going to take the transfer sheet that I was just using. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm very carefully just going to kind of use it to make sure that all the transfer is sticking, that there aren't any little air bubbles or a corner isn't sticking up. You want to be kind of gentle with this, because I have before like caught it coming back up and actually taken part of the transfer off, which...
So you're not done yet.
It wasn't my favorite. No, not quite, but just making sure that that transfer is all the way on there. And there it is. Looks pretty tremendous. You can touch it. Not going to cause any problems touching it. And this will get sealed again at the very end. But for now, it's on there. And
looks amazing.
I love it. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one that I did on the last one. I removed my backing sheet, and I'm just lining that leaf up where I want it at the bottom. What do you think? Is that going to be good?
I think it looks amazing.
And I'm starting at the top again. You don't have to, but seems easiest for me on this particular project. That little piece that just didn't want to come off, but I don't think it needed to be on there. Ta-da! There we go again.
Nice.
I like that.
Oh my.
Yeah?
Win.
That's what I think. So I think I'm actually going to start at the bottom on this one because the small area, and I think I can kind of work from the side on this one. Look at that.
Oh, very nice. Very, very nice.
I'm going to try to line that stem up right here. We'll see. This one's a little bit risky.
Is it going to look dimensional when you do one over another?
I don't know. I've never layered one. I've watched other people layer them, but I have never done it myself. So we'll be learning this together.
You're awesome.
There's always a first time to try something, or you never learn anything new, right?
You are good at trying things.
I like to try things, and I feel like it's pretty low risk. I think it's going to look good. And if it doesn't, I can put another transfer on, or I could even paint it. Just use a little bit of acrylic paint to make something look right that doesn't look right. But I think it's going to look fine.
I think it's going to be amazing.
I did the peak, and I think we're good. Got this one tiny little flower down here. Look at that.
Yeah, now you got it going, dear.
Yeah?
Yes.
That little edge just does not want to come off of there. Being very stubborn. Oh no, it took some of my paint off. That's not good.
You are awesome.
Look at that. Took it right off.
Oh, I see.
All the way down to the wood.
Is that something you can patch with another transfer? Do you have to paint it, or?
Yeah, I think I probably will try putting another transfer on there. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to come back to it, and I'll show you what I end up doing. But yeah, a little disappointing, but definitely not the end of the world. It will be okay.
I love the way you handle adversity. You're so sweet.
Sometimes to grab under that little edge, I'll just use a little tool. Helps me get it started. I dropped it. Try that again. There we go. Actually, that covered that pretty nicely. You can see just the teeniest bit of wood, but I don't think it's noticeable. You can put transfers really on any smooth surface. So it doesn't have to be a painted surface. I put them on glass a lot of times. It's one of my favorite things to do with the transfer is to put it on glass because it's a no fuss project. Make sure your glass is clean and dry. And if you do it on glass, you don't need to use a sealer. And you will, of course, you can't submerge it in water or put it in a dishwasher or anything like that. You have to just be very gentle in your cleaning. But it is a really fun way to dress up a mirror or a jar, a plate. I mean, there's just anything glass. I've used it on a window, like a decorative window that's hanging on my wall. Look at that. I can hardly tell that happened. That just looks like part of the flower. Well, that was pretty awesome. I feel like it just needs just a teeny bit right here, but I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe this. Maybe just this. I like that. The stem is floating a little bit, but I think I can find a piece of stem that I can pop on there. There we go. I like that. Simple. It fills in that space. All right, so I'm going to try some of this golden ticket by Deb's DIY. I've only used it once. I got like this really cool little kit that Deb made. I bought it at Sugarmill, and it just had a lot of different little tiny samples that you could try some different techniques on. And I really liked how it turned out. This is the first time I've opened this jar, and it needed mixed up quite a bit. I'm not really used to that with the DIY products. Usually they don't separate out very much, but this one did. And I can already tell this is really different than chalk paint. So I'm a little nervous about trying it. I'm going to try it right down here on this little lip. We'll see. I like this. I think this is about perfect. It's just a very light brushing of gold. Just highlights that edge just enough. Oh, I like this a lot. Okay. If I can get this in here. All the stuff I want to hold on to is painted, but I want you to be able to see it all put together. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. I'm so happy with this.
You did a great job, dear.
Thank you. So it still needs to have its final sealer coat on it. And the marble top needs to be put back in. But other than that, I think we're done. I feel pretty happy with that. I was nervous to start it, but I'm really happy with the finished product. I get the 2 thumbs up seal of approval. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.
You did amazing.
And for all your help with it. And yeah, I'll get this all the way finished, and we'll show pictures of it when it's completely sealed and we have the top back on. But thank you for watching, and have a nice night.